Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SmarkTank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. We are your hosts. He is
the benevolent, intelligent, extravagant, and eloquent Mr. Donnie Wonderful, a.k.a. Big Time Donnie.
With a belly full of seafood and wrestling in our heart, we bring you our review of the latest WWE pay-per-view offering, which, off camera, we have already recorded our reaction live to the main event, and hopefully you guys listen to that. It's a little bit different than this format where we just kind of retrospectively go over things.
Yep.
So whichever one you like, let us know, because we like both. But we're going to start at the beginning like we would normally do and run through the show clip by clip as far as match by match. And so this pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, opened up with, they typically usually do the bookends with Money in the Bank. So this time, no different. And of course, the women got this slot. And it was interesting for me to have them open up with this kind of a match to start the crowd off.
Well, you knew they were kind of doing that.
I feel like that's always, like, I don't like when they do it with Elimination Chambers either. I'm not a big fan of it, because these are the type of matches that require a lot of energy and emotion from the crowd. So like it can drain you early or it can disappoint early.
So do you think they should end with both?
No, not back to back, but it should be like, so say you have 8 matches, it should be an opener, maybe a match or two, Money in the Bank, few more matches, Money in the Bank to end it, or a title match.
Would you do half and half? Like, let's say if it's a 2-hour show at the end of hour 1.
Yeah.
You could
do that. That would work fine. You know what I mean? It's never a 2-hour show, though. It's always between 3 and 4 these days. This is kind of cool. We have the BSK on in the background for some show on WWE.
Table of 5.
I'll have to watch this later. But anyways, so we're going to talk about the women's match, and that's how interesting it was, that we're just distracted by anything that goes by. So this match had the current crop of women. It had some heavy hitters. You had the man, big time Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
You had Asuka, and that makes sense because they can just go at each other and carry the heavy load of the match. Then you had
Alexa Bliss,
who's on a quick return.
Shotzi
Black, who I'm a big fan of, so she's your rookie. And another rookie, you have Raquel Rodriguez, straight out of NXT.
And Liv Morgan,
right? But we have one more person besides Liv.
Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans, which that was very interesting.
Sonya Blade.
Yeah, she will forever be known as Sonya Blade, and since we're big Mortal Kombat fans, I'm very okay with that. But, so, women's matches, especially ladder matches, we were talking about it off camera, this isn't a sexist thing. They just don't seem to jive very well.
Right.
It's just, they don't seem to click the way the men do. They don't take the high-risk spots, and they don't seem to choreograph it the same way. It can be very nerve-wracking to watch these women put their body at risk and not do something right. Yeah, and it happened several times tonight. Early in the match, they weren't clicking.
Botches.
Yeah, botches that could have went awful, but luckily they didn't.
And again, like I've said this throughout the night, I'm tired of the multiple ladders.
Same.
Like, we just need one ladder, leave it in the middle of the aisle, let it build the climax of who's going to go out and get it. And as it slowly makes its way to the ring, let that be a story in itself. Don't have all these damn ladders and all these ladder spots. It's getting crazy. The Becky Lynch, Sammy Guevara ladder spot was kind of scary.
Yeah, it was. It really was, and it could have went bad. Also, there was a spot that I don't think they did very well. I'm not sure what happened, but Raquel Rodriguez was in the corner at the turnbuckle, at the lower turnbuckle, with her head and chin resting on it because she was like dazed.
Yeah.
And the ladder was right behind her, and there was a spot where I forget who it was, but they suplexed, or some type of move. They were going to do a suplex onto the ladder, and I was telling you, I'm like, oh man, they see her head there? I really hope they see her head because it could go bad. And sure enough, they hit the ladder. It didn't hurt her big time, but it could have. For every time you do a cool innovation, just think of the December to Remember with Joey Mercury. Probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
The cut. Oh,
that was hideous. Now, another unpopular opinion, I will say this. The ladder match was perfected by Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon.
Very unpopular. I'd say it was perfected by Brett.
By Brett.
Yeah, the man who introduced it to WWF. Oh yeah. Listen, like,
Are you serious?
if you ever get a chance to watch Brett and I think the Dynamite Kid and Stampede Wrestling, like in the, I think, was that the 70s? Because that's
probably
where,
late 70s, early 80s.
yeah, late 70s, early 80s. That's where Brett originally bought that idea, and
Right.
we're very tangential, but like he even writes it in his book. So the very first ladder match in WWF was Brett versus Shawn, and because Brett was pitching the idea to Vince, Vince had never seen it, and he said, "Show it to me." So he looked at the roster and said, "Shawn would be great for it," and he had to
Wow.
explain it to Shawn. So if you watch it, and it came out on Coliseum Home Video, it was one of those.
I have to see this.
But if you watch that ladder match and compare it to the WrestleMania 10 ladder match,
Really?
you'll see a lot of
I have to
striking
watch
similarities.
But anyways, where do you think Brett got it from? New
His
Japan,
father.
maybe?
Oh yeah,
Maybe?
yeah, likely, yeah,
Just
New
maybe,
Japan.
you know? Like, I'm pretty sure Tony Onoki and everyone else there was like light years ahead of them with this stuff.
Bret Hart,
But,
you thief!
but anyways,
That was
so
really
I'm
angry.
very sorry that we went super tangent on this one. But I think this match was janky as hell.
Yeah,
It tried to get going several times. It didn't have the spots. It didn't have what you expect from a normal ladder match. It didn't have the pacing. It didn't
Nope.
have the sequencing.
Nope.
And then the hot finish. Had none of that.
Yeah.
It was very discombobulated.
Very.
But what was funny is the crowd seemed to love it better than anything because it was...
this is awesome, chance.
This is awesome broke out immediately. And I'm like, that can't be accurate. There's
What did you
no
rank
way.
it?
I gave it a 1.5.
You get, hold on. Did you? I don't. What did you rank it originally?
1.5.
You ranked it
only because of a
1.5?
ladder was only because of the effort they had to put.
I gave it a 1.5, right?
No, you gave it a 1.
I gave it a 1. Okay, so like one of the reasons. All right, our ranking system goes by, the 1, 2, 3 count. 1.5.
1, 2,
Occasionally,
3, 4.
Occasionally, you'll get a 4 count. Or
Yep.
5.
The ref is drunk.
Yeah, as I call the King Kong Bundy, but like,
Yep.
like, okay, so 1 count is the lowest one, but like, I think my frustrations was everything I voiced before. Way too many ladders.
Right.
I just generally, not to say that they can't, not to be sexist or chauvinistic, I just don't like when the women do the ladder spots. It just, to me,
It's worrisome.
They look like they're more frail and fragile.
They look like they're afraid too. I'll be honest with you. They look very unsure with those spots. Like, and rightfully so. It's not something you naturally see a woman take to.
Right.
And I'm not, again, not being sexist. There have been some great women's ladder matches, but they're usually a one-on-one scenario, not a 6-on-7, a 6-man or 6-woman person.
Somebody's always going to get lost in the sauce whenever there's that many
Yeah,
people. It's kind of like a battle royal. Like, you can't really focus on one person.
Right.
There's way too much going on.
But this time, like, even with the men's match, I don't know if we covered that, but it could have been most of the fault of whoever their cameraman was tonight, because he missed so much
Not
shit.
for the women.
Not for the women, really? Well, he
No.
missed so much stuff. Like, everything kept happening off camera and then pulling into frame. But not only that, the women just never seemed to get going. Like, I just didn't understand the story they were trying to tell. I get the destination, and I'm happy with the winner. But getting there was so discombobulated, it made no sense.
I'll say this. The last 2 or maybe 3 WWE offerings, they've led off strongly with their opening. The opening matches
Right.
could have been the best. And
Exactly.
I kind of walked in expecting
The same formula, yeah.
And I didn't get it tonight.
No, it was...
That's why I gave it a 1.
It was a disappointment for everything that was in it, the veterans that were in it, the newbies that were in it, the opportunities that were in it. It didn't deliver at all. And like I said, if you go back and watch it, we encourage you to watch it on Peacock if you have the cock. Go back and watch it, but the crowd does not sync up with what I was seeing whatsoever.
Oh,
and we weren't on the bomb this time. This was like, what in the world are they watching that we're not?
And as the show went on, it got worse.
So that's all our thoughts on that one.